Suzuki have a brand new model in their lineup for 2023, and it's a bike that's been designed from the ground up. It's this Streetfighter behind me here. It's designated the Suzuki GSX 8S. Now, if you look at it, it's a middleweight Streetfighter. Very iconic, aggressive lines, aggressive proportions. The front is very bold, very Transformer looking like. Who knows, maybe in future years it could be iconic look for Suzuki. And even the color of this bike harks back to the street bikes, super bikes of Suzuki's. Now, all new design bike from the ground up, middleweight Streetfighter. And I always say these middleweight bikes are a win-win because you're getting an affordable bike, and so much of the technology from the bigger liter class super bikes and that's being developed on those bikes is finding its way onto these middleweight class bikes. So you're getting huge value for money on these middleweight bikes. And here you have this Streetfighter middleweight with a lot of tech thrown at it, 2023 Suzuki GSX 8S. Let's have a look at the bike, review its specs, and go for a ride. What we're looking at here in front of me is the all-new 2023 Suzuki GSX 8S. And as I mentioned at the intro, it's from the ground up, all-new model, brand new design. Even the motor is a new compact parallel twin. The aim is a Streetfighter middle-class, middleweight segment, supposed to be powerful, agile, and have a strong appeal to many riders. Now, what I think Suzuki means with that is an appeal to young and old, of age, also experience, proficient riders as well as novice riders. Now, having a look at this front end, you either love it or hate it, but it definitely grows on you. It is something really unique and different. Could be trend setting, and who knows, in a couple of years could be an iconic look for Suzuki. Who knows? Middleweight class bike, it's supposed to be a user-friendly everyday type of bike, and as mentioned, not too much for the novices, and you have the tech so you can detune it. Now, to recap, some key features of this bike would be from the ground up new model, brand new motor, compact parallel twin, a trend-setting design, even the unique color harking back to the street bikes of Suzuki, and a lot of tech thrown at it, such as the Suzuki clutch assist quickshifter, the low RPM assist, as well as Suzuki intelligent ride system. So plenty of tech thrown at this bike, something really unique and different. So let's start off having a look at the specs of the motor. Looking at the motor, as I mentioned, it is a brand new compact parallel twin by Suzuki. It is a Euro 5, so it's a 4-stroke parallel twin double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, 776cc, and therefore the 800 category, the 8S. Liquid cooled wet sump, and if you have a look, radiators tucked in really nice behind those shields, the dual header pipes. And what I really like about this is that the short stubby muffler keeps the back end open, light, and it looks like you have the forward mass looking, very aggressive style looking Streetfighter. Now, the power output of this is 83 horsepower, which is about 62 kilowatts at 8,500 RPM. But the stunning thing which makes this rideable, 78 Newton meters at 6,800 RPMs, fairly low RPMs. And all round, it goes through the wet multiplate clutch with a slipper function, a 6-speed gearbox, final drive chain. So looks good, powerful, torquey motor. Suspension, there again you have the higher upgrade, the 43mm upside down non-adjustable KYBs. At the rear you have the monoshock with a dual swing arm, the KYBs as well. When it comes to brakes, you have a dual disc up front, 2x310mm discs, floating discs, 4-piston Nissan calipers with ABS. At the rear, a single disc, 240mm, also ABS, single piston Nissan. When it comes to the wheels, you have the cast aluminium wheels front and rear, 17-inch both, shod with a 120 and a 180 proper rear wheel. Seat height here, you're talking 810mm, not too high, really comfortable. The stepped seat, pillion rider can see over the front, proper. Wet weight, 202 kilograms, so not bad for a wet weight. With 202 kilos wet weight, 83 horsepower, a good mix. 14 liters fuel capacity. Tank looks bigger when you're sitting on it, nice big bulky beefy looking tank, but 14 liters with the economy of a Euro 5 motor should give you a healthy range. Going back to the color, as I mentioned earlier, this blue, it's the theme and harks back to the street bikes of Suzuki, if you think of the GSXs, and most recently the colors of the MotoGP bike that they raced. And this color is known as the Pearl Cosmic Blue. You also get another color, Pearl Tech White, and the third option is a metallic matte black, which is a stealthy look which works really well with this very aggressive look and stealthy front end. I spoke about in the middleweight category, you get a lot of tech thrown at the bike. Now, there's a middleweight class bike, and a decade ago, this is unheard of, but this is ride-by-wire throttle. You have 3 standard riding modes, your active, your basic, your comfort. The bi-directional quickshifter standard on this, ABS front and rear. You get a 5-inch TFT LCD full color instrument. Your LED lighting all around. Have a look at this stacked front headlight with this side light on either side. It's really a unique face transformer looking like, and as I said, could be iconic in the future. The turn signals are LED, the tail light is LED, and you have traction control as well as low RPM assist. Now if I just switch on the TFT to show you, a very cool look. Yes, the bike clearly needs a service. You see your RPMs, your gear indicator, your speed, your traction, your time, your odo, your volts, your temperature. Everything is catered for, and you can really set this bike up to suit your riding style. And when it comes to the accessories on the Suzuki GSX 8S, again, Suzuki have catered for everything. You can give it an even more aggressive stance, a cowl at the back to give it a single seat look, a little screen on top, an under cowl. You can put heated grips, you can put side bags on the side, 15 liters or 20 liters, frame sliders, mirror extension, USB socket, even tank pad protector. Everything you want. You can really personalize this bike. So fantastic all-round package, something really unique and different. So let me take you on a ride on this bike and go through its paces. I think I really enjoyed it this morning. So let's go for that ride and look for some twisties and even some open road. Before we get going, let me show you seated position. As you can see, foot is really flat, both sides, knees are bent. I am very comfortable. Sitting upright, arms are not hyperextended to the front. Motocross style, my style, elbows out. The bike is fairly slim in the waist over here. If your foot goes on the foot peg, your thigh slopes forward. The thigh fits under this ridge. Comfortable, handlebars not too wide, the front is open, cockpits open. So if we get going now, easy start. And if I show you now the low RPM assist, I'm not actually touching the throttle. If I'm just releasing the clutch slowly, the bike pulls off. It's not stalling. I'm not touching the throttle, and here you go. So very simple, and therefore even novices are not intimidated by something. 800 category sounds like a fairly big bike for a novice. However, you can see docile and gentle. You can ride it simple, docile, yet if you open the gas, she really pushes you forward. The quick shifter, as you can see, fantastic and smooth. The ride this morning was quite surprising, because with this torque, the way the bike pushes you forward, it gives you the impression that it is a slightly bigger motor than a 776cc. Handling also very good. I think I would prefer a steering damper with this bike. It is very light, very nimble, but like there, it got very light in front. As we crested, the front got a little bit of air and created a little bit of a head shake. So the quick shifter, again, third gear, downshift, easy, upshift, smooth, and it works at low RPM, works at high RPM, all round. Good feel, good traction as it comes out of the bends. And what I was saying, nimble bike, light front end feel. Here the camber is the wrong way around. The road is quite bumpy, not the cleanest, and undulating. And as you crest, sometimes the front gets a little bit on the light side, and that unsettles the front for me a little bit. Traction kicking in as I'm demanding too much of the bike, but I'm really giving it some around these twisties. I'm not pedaling it around too docile because I'm trying to push it a bit. But it is a bike with this aggressive stance, weight forward. It actually makes you want to just pedal it a bit. And the motor is perky, it's alive, it makes you go forward, it pushes you forward. You definitely do feel the suspension on these undulating roads, uneven roads. The suspension is quite hard, and the seat is also not a plush touring or adventure bike seat. It's a firm seat. I would compare it very much to the seat of a super bike. It's a firm cushion, so if you have serious potholes or undulation, it definitely goes through your arms and your bum. So more of a sport focus on that feel, but you sit extremely comfortable. Your lower back doesn't take any strain, your arms, your wrists, your forearms, nothing's taking strain. Very comfortable. The position of your feet below you, they're not high and back far set like a super bike. They're in between a super bike and a mid-mount, sort of halfway there. The bike gives you the feel of good ground clearance, good lean angle, yet the feet feel low enough to be quite comfortable to be in the saddle for some time. So riding on smoother roads than this, I could ride a couple of hours without suffering fatigue. I was just pushing it around these twisties a little bit to test it, but performance wise, the traction kicks in, the brakes are strong, you can stand this bike on its nose. If you jump on the anchors here, ABS saves you. So it is all round quite a package. Good build quality, good feel, and lively motor combined with a great gearbox, great quick shifter. The handling, the feeling is good, the brakes feel strong, and you can carry a lot of corner speed. Here we're cresting it again, front getting a little bit light, again front popping up a bit. So a stunning bike. I think we taper it down a little bit now. When you ride sedately like this, even at low RPMs, the quick shifter works effortlessly. There's not too much resistance. I'm now at 3,500 RPMs. Click to fourth, you don't even notice. You actually have to look at your dash. Downshift, same thing, bit of brake, no clutch, good feel on the front, off camber road, and switch back, squirting on. The bike is very, very responsive. The throttle, it feels great, progressive, not snatchy in any way. It doesn't catch you out, so as you feed it on, you get exactly what you're looking for, and you've got good control on that side of things. I would say so far the only not gripe, but the only thing I've noticed, which would be the slight strain, is if you're on a road that's very undulating, this could be a very firm ride. However, you're sitting in a good position, so these speed bumps, if I just pick myself up a little bit, you can fly over them motocross style, and then that's fine. Bike handles beautifully, is nimble, very little input required on the counter steer. If you have a look, let's take this at 70 k's an hour. Here we go. It jumps over these speed bumps. 80 kilometers an hour. Airborne, no problem. A great package. I mean, I shouldn't be riding it like an off-road MX bike. There are other bikes for that. It's just a bike that makes you want to play harder and harder. It is a street fighter. So it's not a docile commuter, although I think this is a perfect commuter because it builds speed progressively. It's not aggressive, too aggressive low down, yet very responsive. So it's a nice balance. Here we go on the main road. Quick shifters, short shift, and top gear, 3000 RPM. Very smooth. So having started off by misbehaving a little bit, taking it around twisties, pushing a little bit, you could see the traction really kicks in, feels comfortable, feels positive, confident, confidence inspiring. When you grab a handful of front end, it's no problem. This bike has you covered. Brakes are ample strong for this bike. Everything happens fairly effortlessly. The controls are simple here. The clutch operation is medium, I would say, not too sloppy, too soft, but also not too hard that you get 4-hour pump. But you really only need it when you're stopping at a traffic light, because that quick shifter is swift, smooth, positive. You know when the gears are in, there's no false neutrals. Great feel to it, and I think it is a must with a bike like this. With a torquey motor like this, this gives you so much fun. The quick shifter just amplifies it here. Have a look at that. Short shifting, quick shifting through the box already in fifth. So with a torquey motor, you don't really need to chase through a gearbox up and down. If you're commuting and you're just chilling, want to relax, you don't need the clutch. You can just push it up or down. There's plenty torque on this bike, 78 Newton meters, so you're not crashing through the box like a hooligan. And I think that makes this bike a perfect commuter. You're sitting upright, no fatigue for long term. Visibility is great, obviously no wind protection, but that is the beauty of naked bikes. Handlebars are wide, not too wide for lane splitting. You have the handlebars, the rear view mirrors coming off the handlebars on top, not handlebar end mirrors, so they are just protruding an inch past each handlebar end, but that is above the rear view mirrors of cars. So lane splitting, something we're allowed to do in South Africa, very easy and comfortable with this bike. It is stable in front at slower speeds. As mentioned, if you're really hard on the gas and you're taking the turns quite aggressively, I personally would like a little bit more stability front end, steering damper maybe, but that's just my style, I suppose. The lane splitting here, as you can see, simple, easy, no sweat. What we're going to do now is look for a little bit of a highway, see how this bike performs at speeds. But as a commuter, it's a very stress-free ride. Fantastic. The TFT does not have reflections, so visibility is great. The controls are not cluttered over the top. If I play with all the indicators, it's not too low. The indicators on some bikes, indicator sits a bit low. Your modes here, your tractions, you just flick through everything. Let's focus on the ride here, and handling holds its line quite nicely. So long before you get onto the highway, before you join the highway, you're at illegal speeds. Comfortable, smooth, there's no dips. The power delivery seems to be very consistent, very smooth. It is not on off. If you look here, I'm rolling on in 5th gear, and we're nowhere near the red line. Just flick it 1 gear up, stable, and very illegal. This is jail territory where I am already, and yep, that magical mark of 120 mile an hour. Work it out. It says 120 over here, so 120. Who cares whether it's mile an hour or kilometers per hour? But I'm sitting upright doing those speeds. Yes, it's quite noisy in the helmet, and that is because it's a naked bike, no wind protection, but it gets up to those speeds effortlessly. I don't have to tuck down. Seated position, I can move forward, elbows out, very motocross style, put a lot of weight in front when I take those twisties aggressively, or else I can shift back, give myself some more space, move my feet forward to put the heels on the pegs, and I have a lot more space. My arms go straighter then. Alternatively, I can get into a very sporty mode, tuck down, put the bum on the back seat, and here we go. Ah, stupid speeds. Let's behave. Let's behave. It's brilliant. This bike definitely runs up to 200 kilometers per hour effortlessly. I don't know what the top speed is, and we're not going to test it today, but it runs those speeds no problem. And I think this is one of those bikes, middleweight class. I've tested some bikes where I do feel, should I buy one of those or own one of those? Within a year or two of owning those bikes, you sort of want to upgrade and want more horsepower. I'm talking about 500-600 cc category. Here you could hear in my voice, when there are bumps, serious bumps, it definitely very stiffly sprung, this bike, and not too much padding in the seat. So what I'm saying with that is that this 776cc motor with the power, I think the power is not something that we talk nowadays of 200 horsepower motorcycles, but what excites me about this motor is the torque. Here, any gear, I'm in 4th gear, that's lazy, should have been 1 gear lower, but 4th is plenty to pull me out. With the torque of 78 newton meters on this bike, it is plenty to commute with, plenty to put a smile on my face, plenty to get me into trouble, and even on the highways run speeds that'll put you in the jail properly. So should you want a weekend warrior and run hard, it can do it. So with this size motor, middleweight, I don't think by owning a bike like this for 2 years you would want to upgrade because of performance, unless you want to do top speed runs on a breakfast run, long distance somewhere. The Canyon Carver cornering style enemy to knee sliders, this bike can definitely do for you, and the torque of punching out of a corner, definitely there. You have a torquey motor, you have a very responsive throttle, it's very progressive, so not snatchy, it doesn't catch you out as you feed it on. It's very consistent. This throttle by fly-by-wire on the throttle, it's really you get the same every time as you roll it on 1mm, 2mm. It's progressive, your acceleration, and you confidently roll on mid bend and know exactly what you're getting for it. So it feels great. I think as an everyday bike, it is fantastic. You can do your craziness should you want to be a little bit of a hooligan. You can definitely commute effortlessly, and it's a pleasure on this bike. You can tour because part of the accessories you get the soft shell bags. Let's have a look at this lane splitting between the trucks, getting quite tight up ahead, but it's about testing this bike. So gets really tight up front here, but properly manageable. Okay, getting a bit crazy here. This is what I mean. When you want the power and you squirt on, I've exceeded the miles per hour on that board already. So I've exceeded highway speeds here already. So this bike runs, it punches out, it moves you forward, it propels you forward. You can feel the push. So it is exciting, it is exhilarating. I think the quickshifter is a bonus that I love, mated with this gearbox and the motor. Definitely a big plus. I personally say this bike, the looks, the color have grown on me. It's very striking, in your face, but I like the bold, I like the contrast, so works for me. Super cool bike. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, the review of this brand new model by Suzuki, the GSX 8S. Fantastic bike in my opinion, loved riding it. If you have the time and the availability, go test this bike. It will put a smile on your face, I promise you. I hope you enjoyed this episode with me. If you did, please remember guys, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up. Most important of all, hit that subscribe button to help me build a channel, and if you like, the reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading new content.